Welcome, beautiful soul, to another heartfelt episode of Awaken Your Authentic Self. I'm your host, Jessica, and I want to thank you for carving out this sacred space to connect, to reflect, and return to yourself. Today, we are exploring something deeply intimate and transformational: the way we nourish our entire being. Our conversation today is titled, Are You Listening to Your Body? The importance of properly feeding the mind, body, and spirit. This episode is a blend of spiritual reflection and practical wisdom. We'll cover food, exercise, energy, and the sacred signals your body gives you every day. I'll also be referencing the powerful insights from the book Eat Right for Your Type by Dr. Peter D'Adamo, which dives into how your blood type influences the best diet and lifestyle choices for you. So, take a breath with me. Inhale and exhale. Settle into your body and let's begin. Let's start with the language of the body. Your body is always speaking, but are you listening? So often we move through life in a constant state of being, answering emails, running errands, checking off tasks, that we forget the body isn't just a vessel. It's a messenger, a living, breathing oracle. Think about the last time you had a headache, or felt a sudden wave of fatigue, or craved a certain food. These aren't random events. These are clues. The body is asking you to pause, to pay attention, to connect. When we ignore our body's whispers, they become cries. A little tension turns into chronic pain. A small craving becomes binge eating. A little fatigue turns into burnout. Listening to your body means honoring its rhythm. It means checking in with yourself before you check your phone. Let's take a moment. Place your hand on your heart. Ask softly, body, what are you trying to tell me today? Breathe into that thought and let it go. Let's carry that awareness forward into how we nourish ourselves. Now, let's talk about food. Not just as nutrition, but as sacred fuel. Food is energy. Food is vibration. And the quality of the energy you put in determines the quality of energy you have to give out. We live in a world of convenience. Fast foods, frozen meals, constant snacking. But what if we approached food like we do meditation or prayer? With presence, with intention, with gratitude. This brings us to the book Eat Right for Your Type by Dr. Peter D'Adamo. This book opens my eyes to the idea that our blood type isn't just about medical compatibility. It is a map for nourishment. I'll share that back in 2022, when I asked the universe to please remove anything from my life that no longer served me mentally, emotionally, and physically, as well as anything that was holding me back from becoming the highest version of myself. I drank then alcohol and caffeine. I was a huge meat eater, and I despised exercise in the traditional sense. I've held many gym memberships, but I have never enjoyed the atmosphere, working with weights, using machines, or any harsh exercise that literally takes me a week to heal from. My body does not react well to having muscles or tissue broken down so hard and so quickly. No matter how gently I approach it from day one, it was always the same effect afterwards. It was crippling and frustrating, and I would end up quitting every single time. After the things that I thought I loved and craved, eating began slowly disappearing from my diet, I noticed actually how much better I felt. I found I didn't need caffeine to wake me up in the mornings. Where I thought I was not a morning person, now I can actually bounce out of bed and kind of jump into whatever I've got going on most days. Suddenly, I craved going out for gentle walks in nature. And I call it gentle because it was, pretty slow pace. Um, so I began taking walks around my complex, which is beautifully adorned by nature and inclusive of lakes. I noticed I only needed to rest afterwards. And I might feel a slight soreness the next day, but it was never anything that kept me bedridden. Not only did I begin to feel physically better, but my mind was clearer and sharper, and I was more spiritually open to receiving messages, which was inspiring my growth. The funny thing is, I did not come across Dr. Peter Diadamo's book until after I had been transformed into a vegetarian. I just happened to have questions about vegetarian diets and came across this book. I was so intrigued and came to learn that as a type A blood type, I was meant to be a vegetarian. So at that point, I just embraced it. It also changed the amount of food I can eat at one sitting. Where before, I could fill a giant plate and sit there and I could go to town and have some dessert afterwards and still be looking at your stuff. And, I had high metabolism. I was never, very big. Um, but all of a sudden, I just like I would eat, I'd be full. I didn't want any more. So, like I say, I eat like a bird because you give me a normal size plate and I'm going to always have leftovers. So, what I really noticed recently is that I eat the amount of food that is the size of my fist. And they say that the size of your stomach is the size of your fist, so that's recommended for eating. So I don't even worry about it. And I'm completely satisfied afterwards. What I've done is now I choose not to use a regular dinner plate and I just use a dessert plate for my meals. And it makes my portion of meals appear as though, yay, they fill a plate. I don't feel like I'm eating just a little bit. And also, I listen now to what my body wants to eat. I speak to it and it responds. If I'm hungry, I don't just go in there and grab the first thing that's easy. I will ask out loud the available options that I see before me. And I mean this literally. If I get nauseous, I know it's a no. But if my stomach starts growling, it's a yes. And as I start to preparing what it was growling for, the excitement just intensifies until it gets what it wants. But it will also tell me when to stop eating. Because again, if while I'm preparing that next bite, I begin to get nauseous, I know that I'm done. I've made the mistake of not taking that cue before and I paid the price. So I listen now. And the good thing is I know I'm doing right by myself because the results of my last blood test were last March. And every single thing that he tested for, plus the extra stuff that I asked for, vitamins and stuff, everything scored right down the middle of the scoring range. Last year, I was considered pre-diabetic. My sugar was very high, and now it's all balanced, right down the middle. The only thing that was still a little high was my cholesterol, but it was lower than it was last year. Last year, after getting my results, I kind of tweaked my diet to a Mediterranean style vegetarian diet. Wow, it's a lot. It's a mouthful itself. This year, what I chose to do is I eliminated my last vice, which was cheese. God, I loved it, but now it just kind of I look at it, it makes me. But I've added chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp hearts, and I make chocolate milk out of cocoa flavanols. Um, and I'm sure that he will be very surprised by my next results, but I won't be. He asked me, after we discussed the last time, what do you even need me for? After telling him the things I started adding into my diet recently. And I just responded for confirmation. And that's literally the truth. At this point, I feel my body feels good. So I listened to it and he confirmed exactly how I was feeling. Um, Also, after coming across this book, I I came to learn I was never meant to be a gym rat, but rather swaying my body gently on a beach. Seriously. Since I enjoy the walking, I just kept walking. Um, and I've increased it. My distance has gotten further. My pace has picked up, and I feel so much stronger. I've since added swimming and also do water aerobics with my noodle in the pool. Yes, I am that person. I will claim that. But again, I can feel the effort in my muscles. I feel what I'm doing, and I can function the next day. The best part is I can feel the strength returning to my body, and I'm leaner in all the right ways without looking like I don't eat at all. Exercise is not meant to break you down mentally, as it's building you up physically. If it doesn't feed all parts of you, then it's not meant for you. Now, let's break down each blood type and what kind of diet supports their unique biology. Type O is considered the hunter. Type O blood types, they thrive on a high protein diet composed of lean meats, fish, and vegetables. They generally will experience poor digestion when consuming dairy and gluten heavy foods. This type needs intense exercise to release stress and stay balanced. Spiritually speaking, these blood types are grounded in physical strength and intuition. Type A is the cultivator. Type A blood types do best on a vegetarian or plant forward diet. Consuming red meat slows their digestion and energy. The type, the body of a type A blood type calls for a calming movement, like yoga or Tai Chi, that aligns them best, or swaying on a beach. That's, I'm just saying. Spiritually, these blood types are highly sensitive and they benefit from structure and from peace. Blood type B is the nomad. Type B can enjoy a balanced omnivore diet of meat, dairy, and grains. They should try to avoid chicken and corn, which can disrupt metabolism. Type B bodies, they thrive with moderate exercise. They do well with swimming, dancing, and hiking. Spiritually, these blood types are adaptable, creative, and thrive with flexibility. Then there is type AB, which is called the Enigma. They are a mix of A and B. They do well eating tofu, seafood, and some dairy. Type AB should avoid eating smoked meat and consuming too much caffeine. Their bodies do best with fusion workouts like Pilates, walking, dancing. And spiritually, these blood types are highly intuitive and deeply connected to inner worlds. These suggestions are based on antigen activity in the digestive and immune systems, not by Rh factors. So being positive or negative to any of these blood types does not matter. So ask yourself after your next meal, do I feel energized? Or do I feel heavy, bloated, or tired? That answer will reveal a lot about how your body is receiving the food that you're eating. Now, just as we feed our bodies, we must also feed our minds. Every thought you think is an affirmation. Every word you consume through media, conversation, or reading is a seed being planted in your mental garden. So, what are you feeding your mind? Is it fear, negativity, overwhelm, or are you feeding it love, hope, and clarity? The mind has its own digestive process. It takes in, it processes, it stores. And just like the gut, it can become overloaded. Mental clutter creates emotional disconnection. There are some daily mind practices you can try. You can read something uplifting each morning to start your mental engine with grace. Around lunch, you can try a 10-minute mindful practice to reset your nervous system. And then try to end your day with a mental detox. Write down 3 thoughts or worries and then affirm your peace over them. You can also try to start your day with intentional input. And this is a page from a sacred book, a mantra, or give your mind a moment of stillness. You can also practice mental fasting. Fasting is not just for your body. Unplug yourself from social media or definitely from the news for a day and give your mind a break from the noise, from the chaos and the distractions, and notice what shifts. You can use this affirmation for that. I choose to feed my mind with thoughts that nourish my soul. The next layer is found by moving energy through the body. Movement is medicine. It's not about punishment, which is what it feels like when you're not using the correct one for you. It's about energy flow. Think of movement as spiritual integration. When you move, you are aligning your energy centers, flushing stagnant energy, and reconnecting with your power. Exercise isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's spiritual. When you stretch your body, you expand your spirit. Try tuning in to your body. Try tuning into your energy before you exercise. Ask yourself, do I need to release or do I need restoration today? Do I want to sweat or to soothe? Now, here's what works best based on your blood type. Type O is high intensity exercise. Think HIIT, cardio, strength training, all the stuff that tries to take me out. Type O's, they need to burn off stress physically. This blood type grounds through sweat and action. Think primal, think bold, cathartic movements. Type A, they crave gentle movement, like yoga, lots of stretching, breath work. It soothes their inner sensitive nervous system. Slower intentional motion calms their inner world. Type B has a variety of choices. They need stimulation without the burnout. If this is you, try hiking or swimming or dancing. Type B types thrive when their workouts feel like play. Last but not least is type AB, which is flow-based. They do very well with intuitive mixed styles. Think about like Pilates, walking meditations, yin yoga. Their practices need to be fluid, intentional, and spiritual. Ask your body this today. How do you want to move? And let it guide you. Dance, stretch, lay it on the ground and breathe. All movement is good movement and it all counts. The final layer of nourishment is the most sacred, and that is feeding your spirit. Your spirit thrives on truth, beauty, and connection. It's not just about religion or rituals, it's about being in alignment with your soul. When your spirit is nourished, your eyes shine, your heart softens, and your life feels meaningful. There are things you can do to help you with your spiritual nourishment. My favorite, if you don't know by now, is spending time in nature. Hug a tree, lie in the grass. If it's day or night, watch the sky. When it's time to eat, create a sacred meal. Light a candle, say a blessing, or eat in silence. You can journal after meditation and let the stillness speak to you. You can express yourself in any way that speaks to your soul, whether through song, dance, painting, or sometimes simply crying when needed. Surround yourself with beauty. It can be flowers, art, scent, or sound. These feed the subtle body. Here is a sacred reminder. Spiritual hunger often shows up as emotional discontent. When your spirit is starved, everything feels off. Now, if you're a journaler, here's a journal prompt for you. Where in my life am I starving my spirit by staying disconnected from myself? Now, there are consequences to not listening to your body. So let's have an honest moment. What happens when we don't listen to our bodies? When we decide to dismiss the fatigue, push through the pain, numb the emotions we avoid with food or distraction, the body keeps the score. The spirit dims, the mind spirals. There are many ways this disconnect can show up in your life. First is chronic fatigue. You wake up tired. No matter how much sleep you get, you feel like you're moving through mud as you move through your day. Then there is emotional numbness. You're physically present, but you're not fully here. You feel disconnected from joy and from your inner purpose. A third way is showing up through digestive issues. Bloating, indigestion, appetite fluctuations may all be signs of emotional and energetic misalignment. You can experience irritability and brain fog. The mind becomes cluttered when the body is overwhelmed and undernourished. Finally, we have a disconnection from purpose. When we're not in our bodies, we lose touch with our inner voice, and this can make your life feel like it's in a constant survival loop. Ignoring the body is like ignoring a crying child. It doesn't stop crying, it just cries louder. But when we begin to listen to it, we initiate healing. We teach our body that we're safe, we're present, and we're willing to change. Here's an affirmation that can help you through this process. I choose to listen. I choose to love. I choose to return to myself. Let's perform a little energetic integration and bring all of this together now. Feeding the mind, body, and spirit, it's not separate, it's holistic. When one is off, the others follow. Energetic integration is about daily dialogue with yourself. It's about being in rhythm with your needs. You can try a simple morning ritual. You begin with taking a few deep breaths. Place one hand on your heart and the other on your belly. Ask yourself, what do I need today? Mentally, physically, and spiritually. Then perform a sacred check-in. How am I feeling physically? What did I feed my body? What am I feeding my mind? How is my spirit today? Listen and let your intuition respond. When you live in tune with your needs, you move from self-discipline to self-devotion. This practice builds intuitive intelligence, and intuition is your soul's GPS. It doesn't yell, it whispers. We must be still enough to hear it. Before we close today's episode, I want to share something truly special that I've been quietly creating behind the scenes. A sacred offering that's been on my heart for quite some time. Starting very soon, I'll be opening the doors to something I'm calling the High Priestess Energy Portal. This will be a private members only sacred space where each week I'll be pulling a single tarot card and sharing the energy transmission for the upcoming week just for you. These episodes, they will blend the intuitive wisdom of the tarot with current planetary alignments, lunar energy, and spiritual insights, all designed to support your journey of awakening and embodiment. Think of it as your weekly soul's check-in, a place to ground, realign, and remember who you truly are. If you've been craving something deeper, some deeper support, guidance that's rooted in both cosmic truth and divine feminine wisdom, this is for you. And remember, tarot knows no gender. Male or female, we all carry divine feminine energy. I'll be sharing more soon, including how you can join and receive these weekly transmissions straight to your private podcast feed. For now, just feel into the energy. Feel if your soul is saying yes. This is only the beginning of something magical. Thank you, as always, for being on this path with me. This journey inward is the greatest one we can take, and I'm so honored to walk it with you. Now, as we close this sacred conversation, I want to remind you of this. You are sacred. Your body is holy. Your energy is precious. When you feed yourself, truly and consciously feed yourself. When you do this, you activate a new timeline for yourself. One of healing, empowerment, and alignment. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here today. May you walk forward in deep listening. May you nourish every part of yourself. And may you continue to awaken your most authentic self. Until next time, beloved soul, stay radiant.